I had never expected to be humiliated in front of the people I cared about most, not by the person I trusted to love me unconditionally. But that night at dinner, it happened. We had been invited to a small gathering, just a few close friends and family. Nothing extravagant, nothing fancy, just a quiet evening to celebrate a birthday. I had taken the time to dress neatly, feeling proud and excited to be with her, to enjoy the company, and to share laughs. At first, everything seemed normal. She smiled, laughed, and made small talk, just like she always did. I complimented her dress, reached out to hold her hand, and tried to show some affection. That's when it happened. "Don't touch me! You look ridiculous!" she yelled, her voice sharp, cutting through the laughter and chatter in the room. The entire table went silent. Forks paused mid-air, conversations halted, and eyes turned to us. I froze, unable to process the shock of her words. My heart pounded in my chest, a mixture of disbelief and embarrassment flooding through me. What did you just say?" I managed, my voice low but firm, trying to keep my composure. "You heard me," she snapped. "Stop being so clingy. Stop embarrassing me in front of everyone." It didn't make sense. We had shared a life together for years. We had laughed, cried, celebrated, and struggled together. And now, in the span of one moment, everything I thought I knew about her behavior, our bond, and her respect for me evaporated. As the room stared, I realized something even more painful. This wasn't just about embarrassment, it was about control, manipulation, and the subtle cruelty she had been practicing for months. I remembered the late nights she claimed to be working, the hidden texts, the excuses that never quite added up. The memory clicked into place, and the truth hit me like a punch. She had been unfaithful. I stayed calm. I didn't yell. I didn't beg. I didn't argue. I simply looked at her, silent, letting the weight of her words settle between us. I didn't want to give her the satisfaction of a reaction fueled by anger. She had assumed I would break down, that I would grovel or plead. She assumed I was blind, oblivious to the betrayal she had been hiding. She was wrong. I excused myself quietly from the table, leaving a moment of awkward silence in my wake. People murmured, some concerned, some shocked, but I ignored them. I went to the restroom, locked the door, and let the reality sink in. Her cruelty wasn't new. It had been a pattern. I had tolerated dismissive remarks, subtle insults, and emotional distance, always rationalizing it, always hoping she would return to the woman I had fallen in love with. But this was different. Public humiliation, sharp and deliberate. And now, with the context of her ongoing affair, everything fell into place. That night, I made a decision. I didn't need to confront her in the middle of the dinner, I didn't need to beg, and I didn't need to fight. I needed control, I needed dignity. I needed to reclaim my life from someone who had been eroding it silently for months. Over the next few days, I gathered evidence quietly, messages, emails, receipts, subtle inconsistencies in her stories. I didn't share anything yet. I didn't act impulsively. I waited. I planned. I was determined to act in a way that ensured she couldn't manipulate or twist the situation against me. When I finally confronted her, I did it calmly. I presented the evidence without anger, without drama. I showed her the messages, the dates, the lies. I let the truth speak louder than any shouting match ever could. She tried to deny it, to gaslight me, to manipulate me with excuses and half-truths. But by then, I had seen enough. I knew enough. And I no longer cared about her spin. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I didn't beg. I simply walked out, leaving the life I had shared with her behind. Not in haste, not in anger, but with clarity and control. The aftermath was complicated. Friends and family took sides, some sympathetic, some confused. But I didn't let their opinions dictate my actions. I focused on myself, on rebuilding, on reclaiming the dignity she had tried to strip from me in one humiliating moment at dinner. Weeks turned into months. I found stability, a sense of peace I hadn't felt in years. I stopped second-guessing myself, stopped rationalizing her behavior, and stopped allowing anyone, including her, to control my emotions. That night at dinner, when she yelled those words, I could have reacted with anger, despair, or humiliation. But I chose silence, observation, and patience. I let her reveal who she truly was, let her reveal the betrayal she thought I wouldn't notice. And then I acted, not impulsively, not cruelly, but decisively, with control and clarity. Betrayal is painful, but humiliation is something you can't let dictate your life. You reclaim power not by fighting, not by shouting, not by sinking to their level. You reclaim power by staying calm, staying aware, and taking deliberate steps to protect yourself and your dignity. She thought she had control over the narrative, over my emotions, over our life. That night, she thought she could embarrass me, belittle me, and continue her deception without consequence. She was wrong. I was paying attention. I was aware. And in the end, the only thing she truly controlled was her own shame.